Make it 3.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your 2?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we are going to take a look at a battle in my Zao. Yes, it has been a while, hasn't it? Mostly because I've just been working on other ships and I haven't really taken out my tier 10s. I do take them out every now and then, and in fact, in continuation of yesterday's video, I did take out the Shimakaze and I'm testing out the 12-kilometer torpedoes right now, so hopefully we'll take a look at that in the upcoming days. One thing on that, though, I will mention is, you know, traditional Thotgor fashion, took out the old Shimakaze with the 12-kilometer torpedoes, forgot that I had the 12-kilometer torpedoes, thought they were the 20-kilometer torpedoes, and missed a bunch of shots, near misses, just because I forgot. But anyway, that's another time. In the Zao, and we're on North. Now this was recorded before the most recent patch, so you know, North doesn't have the weather effects. We don't have the optimization at this time, so you might see a few little jiggity janks here and there. But anyway, my plan for this battle, seeing as how, you know, obviously tier 10 is the top tier. Oh god, that was redundant. But anyway, there weren't many other tier 10s in the battle, right? So I don't have a whole lot to worry about, but I'm still concerned about, obviously, battleships, right? So I'm going to be sticking to the rear of B and of A, and that's going to be my plan, because you'll notice on the minimap the majority of my team is headed B and A, so my plan is to stay in and behind B and A, support as the enemies start getting closer, and then once the enemies get closer, I'm going to, you know, make a judgment call as to whether or not I should be pushing B or whether or not I should be pushing A. Now this, of course, is all preliminary, right? We've talked about this before on the channel, but I always feel it's important to mention again. Even though that is my plan at the beginning, that's what I've decided to do, it doesn't mean that that is what I am guaranteed to do, right? I mean, if my team suddenly all shifted and decided for whatever reason to start focusing C and D, my plans immediately change. I'm going to be focused C and D, right? And I'm bringing this up because I see it so often in battles where it's like the team just splits. And they go, one goes to the west, one side goes to the west, one side goes to the east, and you're split. And then in chat you can see people arguing, no, go this way, we're focusing here, and say, well, I'm in a battleship and I want to go this way because it's open water. What I would say to those people is abandon all hopes and dreams you had of doing your own little plan and having the team follow you. Just abandon all of that right away. Just follow the team. For the love of God, people, follow the team. Exactly what I'm doing here. You can see my team is now taking A, right? I don't need to be over here on the west side anymore, because if you do take a look at the minimap, based on the ships that I see there, I can see that, you know, there is definitely one battleship off in the distance who looks like, yeah, may continue down the west side. But the cruiser, the destroyers that we're shooting at, well, the destroyer's now dead, but the cruisers and whatnot, they do look like they are turning around and heading to the east. So I'm going to use that information, I'm going to interpret it, right, and then use it, and decide, oh, look, I'm going to be turning towards the east now, right? My team is also capping B. So remember, the original plan was to stick behind A and B. Well, there's really not that much of a point in sticking behind A and B at this time, right? I'd really be a whole lot better off if I start switching over and focusing B and C, right? Get a little closer to B. You can see I'm working my way into B now, or well, getting closer to B. I'm not actually there, but anyway, working my way closer to B and kind of eyeing down C, right? Keeping my eye on the minimap. From what I see at C, I know that there's some enemy ships over there, specifically a destroyer, right? We can see him pushing through the channel to take D. I do obviously still have some enemy ships off in the distance, right? I'm taking shots off at them. I mean, the Zao has excellent range, firing high explosive as well. Obvious reasons. You can see the damage numbers I'm getting here with high explosive. Well, don't look at that shot. You that 1122 didn't count. But the other shots, right, we're doing pretty good here. So I want to keep up the momentum and help the team out some more. Because if you do notice on the minimap, a lot of my team is pretty far back, right? We do still have some ships over there on the west. I mean, they're dealing with the enemy ships over there, so that's fine. I don't need to be there. On the east, we are a little weak. And you can see as well, I mean, the enemies, they do have C, so now it's a matter of where are they going to go, right? Are they going to take B, or are they going to take D? Now, D is already being capped. It was the destroyer that we saw push through the channel earlier, so we know that he's there, but is there anyone else with him, right? That's what we want to know. But based on the ships that I see here in front of me, yeah, we're going to continue our push over to C anyway, just to see what happens over there. See what we can get. Maybe I can kill the destroyer. We caught a glimpse of him there. If he comes, and pushes back into C. In the meantime, obviously, again, taking shots off at at enemies that present themselves, right? Just whatever shots I can do, shooting it off, putting it down range, trying to set more fires, taking a look at other targets, and trying to be aware as well. I mean, it's good policy to do this in all of your cruisers, but generally speaking, when you're at the tier 10 mark, and if there's not too many tier 10s in the battle, the rest of the enemies are going to try and get you gone. They want the tier 10s gone as quick as possible. So you really need to be on your toes, watching enemy ships. Who are they firing at? Where are their guns pointed? And limiting your broadsides. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do, or was trying to do when I was out there in B and open. Now I'm in cover, right? I can get some pretty good shots off this New Orleans without having too much concern. And we're getting closer to C. So I need to prepare myself here for C, right? We do see a destroyer, so yeah, it's not too bad. There's still another destroyer, though, that's unaccounted for. He could be over here, I don't know. The enemies caught a quick glimpse of me, so they know that I'm pushing over here because, the spotter plane there that I shot down. So we're actually going to turn. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to go and try to get myself into C. See what I can do about maybe capping this point, at least contesting it, and allowing my team to gain a few more points here, because we are behind in points right now. Well, actually, we just gained the lead because we killed an enemy ship, but we were behind there just for a moment. So, I want to try and increase the gap between my team and the enemy's team, open up the lead in points. Even though we have 3 of the cap points right now, I still want to be proactive in securing points, or at least contesting points, making the enemy think twice about getting too close in, right? So there we go, nice salvo there on the North Carolina. Up pops the Fubuki. So I was a little concerned about this guy. I really wanted to get torpedoes off of him, but I've got this North Carolina. I wasn't willing to turn back in because I'm going to give more broadside. Instead, I'm just going to start taking what I thought were pretty good evasive maneuvers against the Fubuki, right? The old Thotgor shuffle, do a little left, do a little right, and then you're probably good. So torpedoes are coming in, and I wasn't concerned about these torpedoes, and I really should have been. What I was concerned about instead was grounding myself. I didn't want to ground myself in front of all of these enemy ships because I didn't want them to start focusing me and taking me down. So I'm looking at the torpedoes, right? Okay, I figure good, I've got it dodged. Turning a little too much now to the land, oh god. And yeah, I just really messed that one up. So I do end up taking 1 torpedo hit. There we go, did about 13,000 damage, right? Did a lot of damage. I mean, I'm down to under half health at this point in time, so I have to play careful now. But you can see the benefit of being aware of the enemy ships, who's shooting at you, the angle of your ship, right? Because it affords you some of these mistakes. If I wasn't so cautious at the beginning about making sure that I wasn't presenting broadsides and making sure I'm watching incoming fire to limit the amount of damage I'm taking, if I wasn't so cautious about that stuff at the beginning, that torpedo would have killed me. I'd be dead. This would be over. But instead, just playing cautiously, being aware of what's going on. I also feel that I should define cautiously, because I'm thinking that there may be people who think, oh, I'm being cautious, sitting at the back not doing anything. Yeah, no. When I say cautious, I mean, I'm using the range of my ship to my maximum advantage to put fire down range, but I'm also watching enemy ships and what they're doing and whether or not they're firing back at me, right? So I'm trying to be engaged, but I'm also just making sure that I'm not too engaged, that I'm not being focused down by the enemy ships. And again, at the tier 10 mark, this is going to happen quite often if you're in a battle like this where there aren't too many tier 10s. The rest of the enemy vessels will want to get you gone as quick as possible because it's a big threat. And I mean, a Zhao, I love my Zhao, obviously. This is an amazing cruiser at tier 10. Obviously I'm biased towards cruisers. I love the cruisers in the game. I think they're fantastic. And I would argue that at tier 10, a cruiser is much more critical to have at tier 10 than a battleship. I think that you can get more done in your Des Moines, your Hindenburg, your Zhao, your Moskva, or if that's how it's pronounced. I think you can get more done in those ships than you can in battleships as they stand right now in the game. Battleships are really, one-trick ponies. They've got a lot of armor. They have really good firepower, right? You can do a whole bunch of damage, but it's split up because of your reload times. So the most that a battleship can hope to do really is, get some really nice shots in on the enemy, obviously, and take the enemy down. Whereas a cruiser can really shift around, right? You really have the flexibility to move around the battlefield. With my Japanese cruisers especially, and with the other cruiser, I guess it's just the Americans that don't have torpedoes, but you have torpedoes as well, so that gives you another option. Now, I'm using high explosive in my Zhao today because high explosive is really good, but I can get myself into a position where I can start firing armor piercing and doing a crap ton of damage with my armor piercing. But especially right now where I'm shooting at this Des Moines, the angle just isn't right for my armor piercing at this time. The Des Moines is kind of turning into me, right? Don't have that good of a broadside. Plus he's on fire and I'm trying to save my destroyer friend here, but battle is over and we've won. So, shorter video, shorter replay, but really, you can see the value of just making the right decisions, or more cautious decisions, keeping in mind my definition of cautious, to preserve your hit points so that if something happens, you have the hit points to deal with some pretty big hits, right? Like from the torpedo that I took, for example. On top of that, the Zhao is always fun to play and always fun to watch. It's a Zhao, right? It's amazing. Anyway, that is today's video. Like I say, a shorter video today. Got some things that I need to do, so I just wanted to get this up here before I have to start my day and get things going here. Anyway, as always, thank you for sticking around, watching the video through. Leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those, responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.